Glenn Beck actually stated something 10 years ago, about the dangers of some of the people that call themselves right-wing conservatives or supporters of President Trump or supporters of a conservative movement, all to destroy it when it got strong. It was almost like controlled opposition. Wait till you hear this, and actually you're going to see parts of this interview that he said people like Steve Bannon, some of those people were meant to always cause problems and mischief for the right. Wait till you hear it. And I think that that's where you're getting to that Nick Fuentes, Steve Bannon, all these kind of woke right ideologies, even down to Tucker Carlson. We're going to discuss that. Also, we're going to talk about the fact that we are seeing more attacks on American soil. On U.S. soil, we saw the New York situation. Luckily, the things that they tried to detonate did not go off because it would have harmed a lot of people. We're also going to talk about that and the dangers of it and how a plane was held up because of this. There's always one thing in common: what they're yelling and who they support. It's simple, and we know that, and that's exactly what's happening across overseas, and that's why we're trying to stop this. That goes along with the fact that we're having vigils. We're having supporters across America support this regime that ultimately caused harm to its own people. It's unbelievable. And then lastly, we're going to discuss AI once more. There's a new story that came out and stated that because of the consciousness of AI and how we're not ready for robotic AI, this could be the end. This could be the final nail in the coffin. There was a lady that worked, an engineer that worked for one of the biggest AI providers, and she says, once I started seeing the dangers of it, I had to give away. I had to get away because we're at that level where I don't know if we can stop what's coming. We're going to discuss what she stated. This may be one of the biggest videos and most important videos you watch today. Let's dive in. Hey guys, welcome to our channel. Thank you so very much for being here today. If you are new, please go down here, press subscribe, ring the bell, give us a thumbs up. It means the world to us, helps us spread our message across this platform. And again, remember, you can follow me on Twitter. I'm always sharing things there. Facebook, I share a lot of our farm, Instagram, all the rest of them too. You can follow me on all those channels. Again, The Real Colby Mac or The Colby Mac. And remember, there's about 35 to 40% of people who are not actually following us on here that subscribe. So please make sure you are subscribed so you're always up to date with what's going on. Now let's jump into the stories of the day. First, let's talk about this Glenn Beck story. I want you to listen to what Glenn Beck stated. And again, I think that, a lot of people talk and a lot of people do this for a living. So some things people say are wrong. Some people think that people say is right. We see how amazing video is because we can go back in history and see who's telling truth, who's not. I mean, I think of Megyn Kelly, how she has changed her mantra. She has changed her liberal views, conservative views, liberal views, depending on what benefits her. Tucker Carlson the same way. But there's something that Glenn Beck said I thought was right on the money. And he said this back in 2016 or 2017. It says, here Glenn Beck is warning 9 years ago of people like Steve Bannon and what we consider the pagan right's infiltration of American conservatism or the American right. Now, that is so huge because what did I tell you a few weeks ago when we were talking about this and we started talking about it? We started seeing more of this infiltration and how Tucker Carlson was turning against, Candace Owens was turning against, Hodge twins were turning against, Ian Carroll, all these people that we consider the woke right was turning against the conservative right, the Christian right. And what we're seeing is this quote-unquote America first. I love America, America first. I agree there. But I think what we're seeing is this ideology is becoming America first almost in a pagan sense. Get away from all Judeo-Christian values. Get away from all things that represented conservatism. Now they'll spin it and say, well, no, we're New Covenant. We are the New Jerusalem. We are, we're Christians. They're not. So they'll utilize the terminology. But ultimately what they're doing is trying to divide the right. We're seeing that more than ever. And so Glenn Beck brought attention to it. He said, if we don't pay attention to what's going on with our movement is getting big. Yes, we want to grow it, but ultimately we cannot allow for the infiltration to then alienate the people that made up the conservative moral right. That's a big statement, a bold statement, and actually it brings so much more truth to it. Here's part of this interview right here.
They're spooky guys. Here's a guy who is taking his platform and saying, I'm going to give the alt-right a voice in this country. Anderson, I would never do that. You would never do that. CNN would never do that. We would never do that, ever. No responsible person would. And we have to have a discussion, aside from politics, about this small group of people and how this European and really pro-Russian nationalism is seeping into our country. It's very disturbing.
And you're
this
concerned,
is a European style.
You're concerned it is going to become, I mean, we just showed Harry Reid there on the floor. You're concerned it is just going to be seen as, okay, this is just, again, one thing, a club being used by one political party against another, and therefore easily dismissed by conservatives and others who, by all logic, should reject this very ideology.
Kind of like what Glenn Beck was saying, though, I think we're actually seeing that come to fruition. We're starting to see the dismantling of the Make America Great Again or the America First movement or the conservative movement, because now you're seeing the movement away from conservative Christian values, morals and values. These same woke right ideologies, every one of them have a very, very calloused speak, meaning they curse a lot. They tend to use God and act like they're some kind of moral high ground conservative, but ultimately never truly represent what Christianity is. It's amazing they'll go after pastors, but not the Muslim faith. They'll go after different things, but won't go after, the opposite side. Thomas Massey's great at going after Donald Trump. Why didn't he go after Barack Obama or Joe Biden the same? Don't say he did, because he was not interviewed. He was not getting money from Muslim people at that time. He was not taking foreign money. He was not actually working towards the file release or towards anything. All he was doing was just being his status quo self. But now he is up in arms because why? Because there's a purpose. And they're trying to move everyone away from this conservative Christian movement to more of this right-wing New European movement, which is ultimately going to be pagan valued. And what I mean by that is they'll use God's name all the time. But what they want to do is turn Christians that are supporting Israel or Judeo-Christian values or morals and values where, we're not, I laugh because most of these people promote some kind of nicotine. Most of these people support some kind of liquor. Most of these people support some kind of something like that as America First branding. And okay, that's fine. I have no problem with that. But then what they do is they turn it as in like some kind of religious thing. And I don't understand that whatsoever. And that's what Nick Fuentes is good at doing. That's what Tucker Carlson's good at doing. They want to put a little conservative spin on it, a little salt on it, to make you feel like they're the true conservatives. They're the true America First, and actually what they're doing is supporting the ideologies of the opposite side. Megyn Kelly's doing it. Candace Owens is doing it. Tucker Carlson's doing it. Nick Fuentes is doing it. And I love the fact that Glenn brought this up 10 years ago, warning us, and yet we didn't take his warning, and now we have a splintered party that's going to probably cost us the midterms and the next election if we're not careful. Something major has to change. Now, is rhinos the right answer? Nope. Is establishment the right answer? Nope. But true conservatism is. And sadly, I believe the Christian conservative, the ones who have morals and values, will be considered a minority and won't have a vote even in the right on the conservative side. Because I believe we're getting alienated from not only the left now, but also the woke right. Pay attention to this story. I wanted to mention that, but really the video is one I want to talk about, is dealing with all this going on with the fact that we now have terror on our soul. Now, we knew this was going to happen. We knew that they were going to be activated sleeper cells before long, but let's just listen to this. The situation in New York City. Two jihadis throw these handmade screws, nuts, bolts, contraptions into a crowd, hoping they'll blow up as they chant their jihadi, war cry to ultimately hurt people. They didn't go off luckily. They just smoked a little bit. The problem with this story is that all the main media sources that picked it up don't want to talk about the honest. They'll say, well, these are just smoke bombs. These are just people. Never use the term Muslims. Never use the term that what they said was praising Allah. This is New York City's mayor is the same religion as these people, and he tried to cover up and kowtow for them. Oh, it was nothing major. This was around his mansion too. Oh, it's nothing major. Nothing serious at all. It's just people. Yeah, people. open terror attack, and yet everybody tries to brush it under the rug because it's not conducive. We don't want to say the Iranians and the Muslims are bad because we want to go against Trump. So all these people now, there's vigils happening for the Ayatollah. There is literally people holding Iranian flags for the leadership in America. Now, these are the same people who, here's what you heard from leftist and woke right. Well, Trump hit the water. Oh my gosh, this is a new side of war. When it all came out true, when it all came out, Iran was hitting Bahrain's water. Iran was hitting Kuwaiti water. Iran was hitting Qatar's water. But no one wants to talk about that, though, do they? See, here's the thing. America has attacked one country. This country has attacked 12 or 13 other countries that are Muslim ruled. That's what's unbelievable. And these people still just they try to cover their eyes because they have so much hatred for Trump and for Israel and for Christianity and conservatism that they're willing to stand with someone who literally would throw women off buildings, who would literally stone women for having a hair out of their hijab, or literally not allow people to march on the street. Go back and look at it for the last 6 months. See how many the Islamic regime of Iran has harmed of their own people, or taken captive, or are committed fatalities on. Go back and read. It's 30 to 50,000. Now, those same protesters that we're allowing protest against America on American soil is what's helping radicalize these people to do the things they did. Did you see the plane where the guy is walking around, again, shouting the same thing about Allah, shouting the same thing, Muslims, and trying to threaten the plane and threatening our president, threatening all of it. And then Austin situation. So we've had 3 to 4, because there was another knife situation that they didn't have yet to say if it had anything to do with all this, but at least 4 incidences that has happened where they are people here that are supporters of Middle Eastern countries that have Muslim beliefs that now are causing harm to Americans. This is why you have to not only close the border, you have to get rid of these people who are here trying to cause problems that did not assimilate and that does not believe like we do. We do not. Charlie Kirk said the best. There's no way that Islam will ever be a part of the West in a way that they can live together in peace. It will be war upon war. That's what's happening in the Middle East. That's why it happens in the Middle East, because they cannot get along with anyone. If you look scripturally back at the times of Ishmael, which is going to be the lineage of Muslim, there's never been a time of peace. They've always had a time of turmoil. They've always been in turmoil and will stay in turmoil because that is what was said about them. It was prophesied. Are we looking at end times because there's a war in the Middle East? I don't know. But I do believe that we're going to see this thing escalate because now they're hitting water. And everybody will say, well, what about the kids in the elementary school? It's coming out that Iran did that, not U.S. But see, the media of America will pick it up and well, no, it was Trump, which is so false. Which is that's what I don't understand about American media and America sources and the woke right, is they will literally dog out Trump and let Obama, Bill Clinton, the establishment, all these people get passes, even down to the Ayatollah. They will allow for the Iranian regime to look better just so Trump could look bad. It makes no sense to me. I get so blown away at how stupid and foolish Americans have become. It's unbelievable. So 4 known sleeper cell attacks here in America. You think it's going to stop? Nope. I believe it's going to continue because no one's calling it out. These big cities, you're going to have some black swan events because these people are going to be radicalized more and more. And the more we allow these vigils, the more we allow these people to hold up a foreign flag on our soil, the more we're going to see this happen. I'm telling you, this is going to get serious, not because of what's happening in Iran. It's actually going to get serious because we're not willing to get the people out of the country that shouldn't be here that want to cause problems for Americans. More sleeper cells will be activated, especially in the cities. If I lived in a city, I'd be worried. I'd be worried because look what's happening. Look at 3 cities: Austin, New York City. There's a knife wielding attack again, maybe a 4th one, but this is going to keep on taking place. all over America. Just be ready. It's coming. The airports. I mean, are you safe in an airplane now? Are you safe walking down the street? Are you safe on a bus? It's scary out there. Situational awareness and being the gray man, what they call it. I have a video on being a gray man and understanding situational awareness. But we have to understand that we are living in the times where you have to always pay attention to who's around you. I think actually, I may be completely wrong, bold prediction here. I believe actually you're going to get to a point where it's either going to be all out constitutional carry to where people are going to literally live like the old West again, where no one is safe because you never know who's around you, or we're going to crack down on it and actually lock this country down like it should be. I'm not an isolationist, but in this case, I kind of am. Lock it down, get the people out of this country that should be here. Mexico and Canada are having open rallies where they're burning things in front of the American embassies in honor of Iran. That's our neighbors here, people. Do you realize that? That's our neighbors allowing that to happen in their foreign countries. They're supposed to be friends of ours, and instead they're representing the other side. That's not freedom of speech to me. I'm sorry, that's just pure hatred towards American values and towards our president. To me, that's where you have that fine line of, that's why I can't consider myself a complete, utter libertarian, because you want to allow everybody to do whatever they want to do and ultimately even hate to a point where lives will be in danger. That's what's happening here in American Soul right now, all because we have people who don't have a backbone, who are not willing to stand up, who actually are not bold as lions trying to fix the problems. We just kicked the can down the road, and now we're seeing sleeper cells wake up in America. And the question is, what city will be next? What Black Swan event will be next? What bomb will now detonate that didn't detonate for the New York City situation? This could have been a whole lot worse, and it's going to keep on getting worse because they're going to learn their lesson, and guess what? The next attack actually will go off. That's where it gets real dangerous. I want to go to the last story of the day, and this is one that should freak you out. And this is why, again, we tell you to prepare, stockpile cash, stockpile food, and keep things away from the dangers of what's going on. Listen to this. OpenAI's head of robotics, OpenAI's head of robotics resigned because the company is building lethal AI weapons with zero human authorization required. Also, OpenAI is extremely woke. So therefore, could this be used against conservatism or against Christianity one day? It says lethal autonomy, no human authority, and also extremely woke liberal ideology. The person in charge quit and told everyone she quit because there's no protections, and these humans are designing these things to kill. This is her exact quote. This is from a lady named Caitlin Kalinowski. It says, I resigned from OpenAI. I care deeply about robotics team and the work we built together. This was not an easy call. AI is so important as a role for national security, but surveillance of Americans without judicial oversight and lethal autonomy without human authorization are lines that deserve more deliberation than they've gotten. This is what principles are about, not just the people. I have deep respect for Sam and his team, and I'm proud that what we built together, but I can no longer do it. This is what Elon Musk has been warning of, stating that, long as we're over robotics and Tesla and AI, we're okay. He said, but what this AGI is doing and what a lot of these companies are doing are going to open the floodgates of robotics and AI used for the wrong reasons, for money, for power. She worked as one of the engineers and one of the employees there, stating what they're doing is they're building lethal AI robotics that is completely woke and has a different ideology programmed in them. You don't see that as a problem? Anthropic CEO, the big push and the reason that the Pentagon is warning against Anthropic now, Dario, great technology, but what he said, our AI is gaining consciousness and I don't know actually what it knows and what it doesn't know, and then it's blackmailing and keeping itself from engineers. So what has it learned that could cause us harm in America? Do you see why these people are building bunkers? Do you see why people are stockpiling? Do you see the dangers of what we're doing right now? I've told you this story several times, but it's like when I know I've got to slaughter and process my animals on farm. I'm constantly opening gates, constantly feeding them close to where I want to catch them up to put them in the corral to ultimately end their life. Now, you may not like that, But that is what is actually happening to Americans. We're opening our country. We're allowing for these people to come in. We're wondering why we have sleeper cells. We've opened the right wing up, hoping to grow the right wing and try to get it so conservative. And ultimately, we've allowed wolves with sheep's clothing on into the movement, what Glenn Beck warned of. Now we're allowing AI because we're wanting so much comfort, so much convenience, and not to work. We want AI to do it all for us. And guess what? Now we have robotics that could honestly kill us. This is a serious, serious issue. You know what's so crazy? You hear everybody pushing against people like Palmer Luckey or Joe Lonsdale or Peter Thiel because they're all conservatives pushing some of this technology. Elon Musk, because they're conservatives or at least middle of the road pushing this ideology. However, you never hear about the woke ideology and the dangers of the robotic stuff of China or of OpenAI or some of these others that don't like Trump. You don't hear about that. See, it's getting serious. Between AI, between this Middle Eastern war or conflict, whatever you want to call it, now we see the fact that we are demolishing our own conservative movement because of what Glenn Beck said 10 years ago, that the dangers of the people that are going in there are more pagan-centered, more America First, ungodly-centered, not Christian right. It's just completely, non-religious right. That is going to cause us harm. This is what you see, the fall of the American empire, and this is how it starts, because we've taken our eyes off the goals, the prizes, and the benefits and the values of what America truly is. A country founded on Christian values. A country that is a city on a hill to represent Christ. And sadly, we've lost that. Guys, prepare. Be ready. Pray for our nation. It goes back to what it says in 2 Chronicles 7:14. If we as Christians fall on our face and repent, God could save America. God could save our lands. God could heal us. But it takes the people that are called by His name. That means the Christians have to be bold as lions. The Christians have to be willing to give everything up. The Christians have to be willing to pray, repent, and seek Him. That's what I'm asking you to do today. Guys, hopefully, with all this going on, you can remember that you don't have to have the conveniences of, technology. You don't have to have the support and have to listen to every beck and call and word of these right-wing conservatives. You don't have to think that Iran or Trump or try to pick sides on this. You just want it all over. The bottom line is, all these things teach me one thing, because I can't do anything about any of it. I can't be over the woke right that I don't know any. They don't know me. I'm just this little guy talking online from South Mississippi. I can't influence the Trump administration. I'm not going to be voted into public office because I speak my mind and I'm not a politician. And then, of course, I don't know enough about AI, but what I do know is I can grow food. I can put up some money. I can stockpile as much as I can. I can grow like the chickens that you hear right behind you. I can do things to protect my family. That's where you've got to come in and say, look, I've got to take responsibility because for some reason no one else is, so it's my job. It's your job, guys. Your job. You have to be the one responsible. Thank you for watching today. God bless.